Assalamu alaikum ayyuha al-Muslimun. And good evening, members of the Board of Education. At the front end of this issue is explicit sexual material made accessible or taught to students, which is illegal in Michigan law section 722.675, titled Disseminating, Exhibiting, or Displaying Sexually Explicit Matter to Minors. But let's be very clear that at the core of this issue is an ideological battle. And it seems like, and I hope I'm mistaken in my assessment, that some members of this board have inclined towards an insane, liberal LGBT ideology that holds many fanatical views, but none so deranged as the idea that pornography is good and students should have access to pornographic material in school as part of education. And I don't accuse you of holding these stances. However, the way that you've handled it so far is somewhat doubting. The book challenging process you presented is, I'm sorry, a joke, because any pornographic books on any sexuality, whether on homosexuality, incest, pedophilia, zoophilia, or other forms of sexual perversions is illegal and should never been on our shelves to start with. And what's extremely upsetting is that people like Abdullah Hamoud and the lady, what's her name, Rashida or something, and the other goblins influencing them want to propagate this as an issue. Quote, he says, children having the tools to create their own future. This is pure shenanigans, because you wouldn't allow materials on incest, zoophilia, or pedophilia for the same reason. So this is not about, quote, he says our library is serving a gateway to knowledge, imagination, and this is ridiculous. This is about where we draw the line and the moral corruption that the majority of us in Dearborn, frankly and proudly, don't accept. This is about the deliberate targeting of students. This is about the deliberate targeting of students with certain toxic, indecent content of an insane ideology that students must not be around. And the reality is, the proponents of LGBT liberal ideology here and elsewhere are fine with democracy as long as people vote for their fanatical views and as long as it supports their wicked agendas. If people vote against their views, the liberal authority blocks the democratic process and imposes the LGBT liberal positions on the populace. They are Hitler. They are the oppressors. They are radical extremists. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the Board of Education, if democracy matters, we are the majority here in Dearborn. Let us draw the boundaries on appropriateness. And I urge you not to fuel the tensions and to truly support the majority decisions of families, students, and parents in Dearborn regarding what is appropriate content to allow or teach in our schools. And as far as we're concerned, our unity here is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And through this evil, we're able to know who to vote in or out.
Next.